posters, and that's all was yeah.
Yeah.
That was on your mind, so yeah, you go home and looking up computers and send emails. Or fan emails.
Definitely, I feel like it takes a lot of bravery to send that fan letter out. I feel like I was always too nervous to ever do something like that. But definitely community. It seems like you're kind of tapping into something. It's like they're a part of this larger international circle of printers and comics makers. But also, curiously, the last thing in the questionnaire that I had noticed is that I had noticed in a theme in your work, just sort of being like, sort of like this appreciation of outsider culture, like punk culture, or just kind of like individualism. But all of you kind of had a similar response, which was like, we were interested, but not involved. It was that you were like, you loved making flyers, you liked going to the events, but you never felt fully embraced by that community, and I thought that was sort of curious.
I don't know, I never played in a band, and I can't sing or like do anything like other DIY than like drawing, I think. So that was the only way to like connect to this like community somehow, like to be part of it, I think, maybe. And I really wanted to be part of it, like I really wanted to make friends, and I had to offer something, so I was like, hey, I can draw with flyers, and like I can do poster artwork for you, and like,
But why that instead of the chess club? You know, you're not looking for just any community. You feel like you're looking for something specific.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's definitely a thing. It's like there's an appreciation for that culture, but also still it's like you don't feel fully embraced by it. But it seems like with Oily, you've kind of created this network of all these artists together, all similar-minded, making work. Do you feel? How do you feel about kind of being? I think in the past year you've done a great job of bringing these people together.
I sort of think of the whole thing as like almost an anthology of sorts. It's just, it's people that I like, that artists that I would love to work with, and I think, and especially, we sell subscriptions, so you get like $5 a month. So it makes me really happy that I can send 200 people a comic by a really young artist that nobody knows yet, and maybe they'll find their new favorite person they like. So that's been really gratifying to be able to expose people to new stuff, the stuff that I like. I mean, it's stuff I like. I don't know.
I don't want to put you on the spot, even though you're technically on the spot. But Michael, do you feel like it definitely feels that the work that you've been putting out has been it's been embraced? I talked to one cartoonist who referred to the act of just someone picking up your book, looking at it for a second, just saying, "I want this," as the DeForge effect. But how do you feel like kind of having, I feel this current kind of presence in comics going on these days? Is it still very new, or do you feel at home at it, or you just don't even think about it, just working?
Yeah, I mean, it's always surprisingly very flattering that people are reading, are interested. It's like, it's like, yeah, it's nice to go to cons and have people buy your stuff. But like working day to day, like I'm not aware of very much things, unless I could Google my name or something, which I do. But it's really nice. It's very nice and surprising and flattering. But yeah, anyone would be paying attention at all of this.
Wait, what's your name again?
It's like, there's like a big F somewhere in there, right?
That's my nickname, Big F.
Let's not start that. Well, no, it's definitely been refreshing. I feel like in the past, I'd say 2-3 years, it definitely seems that there's been an explosion in independent publishing. It's been definitely a great reflection of the work that's going on. I sometimes find myself in Quimby's just going, where did all this come from? What do you feel is like, is it just the effect of the publishers not printing floppies anymore and the hunger for that, or is there just what's in the air?
Yeah, I think it's partly that, there's that void, but also everyone just got risograph machines.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 years from
Yeah, like Brian Sands probably discovered, the first risograph
No, Mickey,
in comics.
Mickey.
Mickey, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been doing it for like 20 years.
Yeah.
She's been around a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
those Mickey zines, and that's what, like, why me and Just You Gill and Patrick Kyle bought one, is we're like, oh, like, looks like a red photocopy. Like, what?
Yeah. I don't know. I think we probably all just grew up loving comic books, and maybe it's a reaction to the graphic novel boom that happened, kind of. And you know, I like short comics, and I think a lot of people like short comics. I think it's the best way to read comics, and people just want that. At least a few people do. So we just started making them, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely feels like just so much going on. It's great. I'm really excited to see what people are going to be coming up with next. Do you guys have some things that are coming up in the future? Do you think about future projects, or are you just kind of like working on it as it comes along?
Yeah, I mean, my plans are just like, you know, keep Oily going till the end of the year, and then I'll decide if I want to shut it down or something. I don't know. No, I make really small commitments to it because it's too overwhelming to think about.
Yeah, it just seems like
too far down the line.
Just I look at your table and I'm just like, oh my god, there's a lot
So
of
do I. Yeah, but I like doing it because it's like the best part-time job, you know, and I can wake up at 1 p.m. and print comics. You know, I just went through a big creative, horrible depression the last few months, but I just started drawing a new comic. I'll probably print it through Oily, a new monthly thing. That's kind of what I'm working on. And I have to finish up another book for Fanta, which is coming out in the fall, called Celebrated Summer.
Okay, great. Oh, that's a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anna, do you feel when you make your work, it definitely has this energy that feels like it's like you're putting it down on the page, you're making up as it goes along. But do you ever feel like where does that energy come from? Is there ever just like a moment you're just walking? Is it just like something that's popping up to you? It's always just curious to see how people come up with works like like really abject work.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's really just like a tram ride or something, and like just watching people act horrible to each other, like basically just, I mean, it just needs like maybe like 5 minutes of like a scene on the street, and then like it's like a point where I want to like make a comment about it, and then the bodies are the right persons for like this kind of stuff, like just like horrible, like everyday stuff that you would see on the street, like just, I mean, not shootings or something, but like just like emotional like brutality, just in a way. So yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I definitely sense that in the three of yours work too, that similar sense of just like trying to take sort of like the darker aspects of living, but trying to turn it into something humorous or visual or just real. Do you ever feel that you're like channeling something like that, or is it just like specifically like things that like specific things that you've kind of put into your work?
I mean, like, I know my work is sometimes bleak, but I never think of my outlook as very bleak. Or I always feel like my things are sometimes shitty and sometimes funny and sometimes sort of like nice. And I sort of hope what I do has all of those things. Like the things are shitty and funny a lot of the time. So like, I'm not trying to like, it's not a really conscious process. It's just like, that's how I think things are. So, yeah.
Just trying to achieve that balance.
Yeah. I don't even know if I'm trying. I think it just ends up reflecting. I don't work too hard to try to. Like, I think it's just there.
It just happens naturally. Yeah, it always makes sense. Like, but also, End of the Fucking World already has a pretty nihilist title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've none of my themes are very conscious. I don't think. It's just, I guess it's just what I'm interested in. All my comics are usually about teenagers, and usually some violence and humor if I can pull it off. Yeah, and it's not something, it's more of something I've just accepted about myself, that I'm probably going to do comics about teenagers the rest of my life. Like I said, I tried to do a superhero comic, but it just felt wrong. I don't know. I just couldn't. I don't know. It was weird, but yeah, I don't know. Teenagers. I don't know if it's because I had such a weird teenager. No, I didn't have a weird. I was a teenager.
Everyone's a weird teenager.
Yeah, and I think maybe I'm just still regretting everything I did as a teenager. So I'm just gonna replay all that in my comics.